Good morning! Halika, magkape muna tayo.
Welcome to our morning reflection. Our gospel today is taken from the book of Matthew, chapter 22, verses 1 to 14. It says, Jesus spoke to them in parables, saying, "The kingdom of heaven is like a king who prepared a wedding banquet for his son. He sent his servants to those who had been invited to the banquet to tell them to come, but they refused to come. Then he sent some more servants and said, 'Tell those who have been invited that I have prepared my dinner. My oxen and fattened cattle have been butchered, and everything is ready. Come to the wedding banquet.' But they paid no attention and went off, one to his field, another to his business. And the rest seized his servants and mistreated them and killed them. The king was in a rage. He sent his army and destroyed those murderers and burned their city. Then he said to his servants, 'The wedding banquet is ready, but those I invited did not deserve to come. So go to the street corners and invite to the banquet anyone who find.' So the servants went out into the streets and gathered all the people they could find, the bad as well as the good, and the wedding hall was filled with guests. But when the king came in to see the guests, he noticed a man there who was not wearing the wedding clothes. He asked, 'How did you get in here without the wedding clothes, friend?' The man was speechless. Then the king told his attendants, 'Tie his hand and foot and throw him outside into the darkness where there will be weeping and gnashing of teeth. For many are invited, but few are chosen.'" Brothers and sisters, those are the readings from the Gospel of Matthew today. What is it for us? Anong mensahe na ipaparating ni Lord sa ating buhay ngayon, sa ngayon? As a backgrounder to this gospel parable, ito yung dito isinilarawan ni Matthew yung symbolism or figure about the good news, the kingdom, which was portrayed that the Jewish people were the first invited people into the kingdom of God. And that's why we have the term chosen people. And even until today, they still cling on to that image, to the title that they are the chosen people of God. In fact, to the extent of using the term, the only chosen people of God. Yet, according to our history, may nangyayaring twists or pagbabago. From being assured and the first who were invited, along the way, something happened. Something happened. Portraying the story of the Messiah, who was one of them, a Jew, And according to the story of Jesus, he was turned down, rejected, to the point of being crucified. So, the next scene was the father asked his servants to go along the byways and the street corners along the way to invite everyone, that everyone is invited into the banquet, into God's kingdom. And everybody went there. It's just sad that someone who came there uninvited, being portrayed by not using the garment for the wedding, he was thrown away. Portraying here that everyone is invited, everyone is given the gift of the kingdom and much more salvation. That we need to follow his guidelines, laws, and everything for us to be assured of that banquet of that kingdom. Yet someone fall and failed to follow everything, and he was thrown out into the banquet. Cut the long story short, it is a portrayal of the story of salvation for us. Okay, so this parable of the invitation to a wedding feast, where all the invited did not only refuse to attend, but treated the messengers very badly. So the king sent out his servants to the crossroads, sabi ko, gathered all they could find, the good, the bad, and the ugly alike. And the hall was full. Point number two, God's invitation to partake in his great banquet is not restricted or exclusive to the Jews alone. His kingdom, his gifts is now open to all without any distinction. Jew or Gentile, we are all invited to come and join in the celebration of the banquet. Even to those who seem unworthy, I stand and wonder at God's goodness and mercy towards all. I ask to be like the Father in his mercy and generosity. Third point, but the text also underlines the link between the kingdom and judgment and time result. The first guests were punished for their unbelief behavior, and the guest without the proper attire was expelled, rejected, thrown out from the banquet, and sent to where there is darkness and the gnashing of teeth. But not accepting the kingdom, I am excluding myself from it. I ask for the grace to be consistent in my choices. A person of integrity, since his invitation is extended to me, to you, and to all, and to everyone. The challenge for us is that, yes, we are all invited. Nobody is excluded in his gift of salvation, the gift of the kingdom. Ang challenge sa atin is a way of expressing our gratitude of God's love extended to us is yes. This is good news for all of us that nobody is set aside in God's heavenly kingdom. So our challenge is we might as well do the same to our brothers and sisters and our neighbors within our vicinity and outside into the world out there. People must know, people must be aware that everyone, the good, the bad, and the ugly in this world, is part and parcel of God's invitation to be with Him and celebrate His presence in His kingdom. Going out again, going out again, and proclaiming, sharing the good news, reminding everyone that the good news is for all of us. Salamat mga kapatid for today. Drink your coffee. See you tomorrow. Magandang buhay.